Good day, everyone. This is Dr. Mahtab from College of Engineering and Design, Kingdom University, Bahrain. We'll be discussing the exploring architectural ethics and challenges for sustainable practice. It's a qualitative study in Bahrain. Basically, what is happening is a rapid progression towards global transformation, which is manifesting the economic demands, and there are different factors that are affecting this, which are responsible for that. That can be market-based, consumer decisions, client behavior, world trade patterns, and etc. So all these professional sectors are changing, and of course, architecture frame is also one of those. The thing is that the evaluation of the ethical standards of architecture should be also connected to natural moral capacity of architecture to interact with the culture itself. So there are challenges that its platform, the ethical ambiguity that are mentioned as client management, ethical design morals, evaluating local culture, and adheres to the local regularity frameworks. There are basically three different objectives for this study, which is investigating the ethical challenges that it's facing by architects in Bahrain, and understanding affecting these architectural practices and ethics. Also, to highlight the importance of ethical awareness for sustainable design. The approach that this research have is a qualitative research, and it's utilizing the thematic analysis structure with in-depth interviews with professionals, and the sample was from various architectural firms in Bahrain, and the data collection was semi-structured interview focusing on ethical challenges and decision-making process, basically. Through the literature reviews and studied the background, basically, there are different globalization influence, which is expansion of architectural practices beyond natural boundaries, the interaction with diverse cultures, which lead to ethical dilemmas, architects that they need to balance client expectations with the local cultural values, and the increased responsibility for ethical design in a global market. There were the themes which taken through these literatures, which basically is then the ethical dilemmas which they were identified were balancing design integrated with client demands, one of the challenges actually, and navigating conflicts of interest and ethical standards, which was between the architects, clients, which they have these challenges, importance of sustainability in architectural practices. And in terms of the cultural sensitivity, it's about emphasizing local traditions and values in design, engaging with the community needs and expectation to meet what the community needs. There are some major ethical challenges which we talk about. I talk about it also, the client conflicts, where clients' demands are contracted with ethical practices, as architects are facing this. And then sustainability issue, which is the challenges are implementing these sustainable design principles, and regularity compliances, which is it's the difficult and challenging to adhere to all local regulations while it's getting through this globalization and needs to meet the global standards. From architects' perspective, it's need for clarity on ethical guidelines and practices, and it desire more training in ethical decision making. The questionnaires were been sent to, the interviews, which it was coming with 8 different questions and about the duration of the experiences, which mainly they were between 1 to 5 years, these professionals, and then some 5 to 10 and more than 10 years of experience, those interviews that they have, our respondents actually. And regarding any literacy that they have obtained in terms of ethics in architectural practices, majority of the respondents agreed that they have received a formal education on ethics in their presentation, and but still were few that and the other questions about the importance of ethical consideration that it's in architectural practices basically, and how critical and essential is that. So mainly they have been agreed that it is a very important and needs to be prioritized. So in terms of socio-cultural factors that needs to be taken into the consideration, mainly they have considered that respect to these local socio-cultural aspects, and they have answered in a different way of dealing with this actually, in terms of the creating spaces sensitive to local context and conduct initial research to understand the cultural and social factors. Some answers was to following the client's choice, and a few respondents was that they are not considering in their design. And in terms of experiencing any kind of conflicts of interest during these professional practices, there were different factors basically that it was asked about them. They have discussed it, which was the balancing the client demands with ethical consideration, promoting sustainability and environmental responsibility, and addressing inclusively and social justice to create accessible spaces and promote social equity. And for some cases, it was all above all those three that has been mentioned. And related to getting updates when it comes to ethical, and then the ethical best practices updates. In Bahrain, different as the respondent, the different ways, such as conferences, workshops, which architects take engaging in different discussions and getting updates when it comes to local regulations, codes, ethics, and just a few which they mentioned that they are not receiving any updates actually. And then, in terms of the findings and conclusion of this research, as it was in the literature review, the ethical turn in architecture in this century, that people that are affecting by architects' decision, they need to be engaged as well. To have this understanding of diverse perspective and respect for cultural and climate differences. Ethics is playing a significant role in any professional practices. And there is an engineering board that has set of ethical codes in Bahrain, but lack of the application of that, it's leading to unprofessionalism within the firms. And then the result of the data analysis, which is demonstrate that enhancements of knowledge and skills on ethics in architectural practices could motivate professionals to converse their experiences and the best practices, enabling them to develop effective techniques to handle conflicts of interest. So there are ethical considerations that are essential for sustainable architectural practices. A structured framework can really guide architects in ethical decision making, importance of integration local cultural values into architectural design, and it is recommended to urge stakeholders to prioritize ethical practices in architectures. Thank you.